Hello, I'm Michael Brook, publisher of Concrete Wave Magazine. I have the pleasure of being here in Encinitas with Steve Lake and Dennis Telfer of Sector 9, and we've got a few questions for them. So guys, are you ready?
Yeah, let's do this.
All right. So it's been 18 years since you guys started up Sector 9, and my first question is, did you ever expect it to kind of take off the way it
No.
did? Dennis?
I think we had pretty big expectations in the beginning. At least I know I had a fairly large, vision of a lot of people coming together as far as a wide variety of groups of skaters.
And you're responsible for a lot of people doing enormous success. I mean, you've created an opportunity, and I wanted to ask you how it feels to kind of be responsible for enabling others. This sort of sense of you've catapulted people, you've brought them into what you've built, and they've riffed on it. You said they've taken their own vision and worked with it. But how does it feel to I mean, really, you guys, you've enabled me, you've enabled countless people. So how does it feel to be responsible in some way?
Well, I don't necessarily feel responsible, but for me, I think if you boil it down to success or the success we've had, I think success is a byproduct of passion, and so I think that the success other people out there are having, alongside of us, really is a testament to their passion for the sport.
But you lit the fire, or you enabled that fire to be lit within them.
We didn't take no for an answer, and we still don't take no for an answer today. In the beginning, I mean, you were there in the beginning. You saw it when you had the same choice to make. What were you going to do with your life? And look where you are now. So, at a time when the skateboard market was laughing at us going up and down the coast selling these flat pintails out of the backs of our car, we didn't just roll over and say, oh, maybe you guys are right. Instead, we continued to push forward, and so we're passionate. We remain passionate today. I read recently in one of your magazines, somebody said that the day of the pintail is over. To that person, I would say that pintail helped spark the passion for the success we're all having today. So I don't think that day should ever end, and if it does, I think that would be a sad day for this side of the sport.
All right, so both of you intermingle. You handle marketing initiatives, you handle technical initiatives, but you also handle technical things, and you handle marketing things. So I'm wondering if you could both answer this question, which is, what are you most proud of, specifically for marketing initiative you've done, and specifically for a technical thing or development you've done?
I'd say it's easy for me. I mean, as far as the technical thing, it's hard really to put a finger on one specific thing. To me, it's more of a broader aspect. I mean, for me, because when we first started making skateboards, we didn't know how to make skateboards at all, and there was really no internet. Internet was just starting. We went to the library. We did all kinds of stuff to try and figure out how to make skateboards. It was tough. So we've had some help along the way, but I mean, that was pretty much figuring out how to make a quality skateboard was. And develop a factory was a huge undertaking, and something that still is, and it's kind of evolved over the years, and it's tough.
See, I'd like to throw one out if I could.
Yeah.
I think it was bloody genius to put a rack in the shop and say, "There's a rack. Here's our boards. Have at it." I think no one's ever done that the way you did it, and I thought that was absolute genius, and that's how you got into a lot of places. I mean, you may have other content there, you're about to cut you off, but I thought that was extraordinary.
Yeah, I mean, that's I was thinking of the more grassroots style of some of our marketing efforts to consumers and other riders, but yeah, that was a turning point. We realized very early on, as we were getting laughed out of the shops that we were going into, that a couple of boards leaning up against the wall weren't really making a statement or driving people to look at those and say, wow, what is this? But the moment we decided to create in our wood shop some standalone racks, convince some retailers that, hey, if you carry 2 or 3, you're only going to sell 2 or 3, but if you'll take a chance and carry 10 or 12, then it's undeniable to the consumer when they walk in. It's, wow, what is this? And to take it a step further, we said, hey, we're going to give you demo boards that send people out front and let them ride them.
I believe that was the stepping stone to building this category.
We got our start. Dennis and I, called Dennis the Godfather, and I'm, the guy that was there with him. When we decided to make a go at Sector 9, we didn't have any money. I mean, we were freaking paycheck to paycheck, waiting tables, doing whatever we could to, finish up college and keep food in our stomachs. But we approached my parents to borrow $10,000 to start Sector 9, and they halfway chuckled, they halfway looked at us and said, okay, well, if you want to borrow the money from us, why don't you go figure out what it is you're going to do and write a business plan and bring it back to us, then we'll talk about it. So Dennis and I had to go out and figure out how to write a business plan.
Typewriters still.
Yeah, typewriters still. We had no clue of what the market potential could be or what we were going to do, but we put it together. We approached them, went and had lunch with them, and they grilled us for a long time, and eventually they decided to loan us $10,000, and that's the money we used to get into our first trade show. By the time we got into the first trade show, we were $2,000 in debt, so we'd spent all the money, and I talked a Japanese distributor into prepaying for an order, which got us enough money to get the $2,000 back to the bank and to seed our first production run. And we paid them back probably 4 or 5 years later. And
yeah, I don't think they were ever expecting to get paid back.
No, they weren't. We gave them a check and a Christmas card.
Yeah.
And we never looked back.
So let me ask you this, and this is a question that just came up. I met you. I remember buying my first Sector 9 board at 19. I bought my first longboard in 1988, which was a 36-inch yard scale. So I've been riding longboards for a while, but the thing didn't bend. It didn't have anything to do with surf. It was just a big honking skateboard. 36 inches is great. People look at it and go, wow, that's pretty big. We leave it at that. My first actual board, though, which was a longboard that flexed, was a Foundation, which was 95. But it didn't do much. It just kind of sagged, and it was fun. But then I was at S&J Sales, and they showed me this product line. They said, this is something called a Sector 9, and this is apparently the world's greatest longboard. And I turned and said, I've never heard of this company. And I'm just getting back into skateboarding, and I remember buying it, because I was going there to try and find slalom boards. It was kind of a kooky thing. You couldn't find anything in Toronto at the time. And I remember faxing you and saying, oh my God, I've got this incredible Sector 9, and it had energy in it, and it had beautiful wheel wells, and it was one of the first, I guess, out there, because we've been going for it since 93. So at the time when I got it in 96, the company was pretty small. I mean, how far ahead?
Really small.
It was really small. Yeah, we were in our first factory.
Yeah.
And we use the term factory loosely.
So when 93, we started in 93, but that first whole year was backyards, getting kicked out of one to another.
So the timeline for me is when I eventually came down to see you in 97. Remember that trip?
I do,
Yeah.
very well.
Because you said...
Slept on our couch.
I slept on the couch.
Yep.
So my question is, that was 97, which means it was about 3 years into it.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, you're successful somewhat, but you were still pretty small.
In 97, we were still working night jobs to pay the bills.
Oh my God.
So
I didn't know that. I just assumed
in
it was
1997, I'd wake up in the morning, go to work where we were making skateboards. I'd take off at lunch and go wait tables at Chili's restaurant and make enough money to put food on the table, and then I'd come back and make skateboards late into the night with Dennis and Dave. And I don't think we didn't take a paycheck from Sector 9 until probably 1990, probably late 97, early 98.
Yeah.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope
we put absolutely everything back into the company. It was never about money.
I sensed that, but
if it had been about money, we never would have made it. It was truly, I think, what made it most worth it to us was to see some kid riding down the street on something that we knew that we had made, and the fact that we were making fun for other people. that's what really was, and today that's the most rewarding part of what we do. You know, had it been about money, we'd have been like some of the other companies that have come and gone. You know, there wasn't enough to make a living for us.
See, this is the first time this has been disclosed to me, and I mean,
Probably the first time it's been disclosed to anybody.
well, if I look at it now, 13 years later, and it's a vastly different ballgame.
Although we're still a small company, is relative to others. You know, people need to realize that, I think, a little bit, because sometimes you read something on the internet and we're this big, we may as well be British Petroleum. You know, they think we're some giant conglomerate that's just out to get everybody because we're the big guy. You know, we're still in there having fun, making skateboards, and we're relatively small compared to, other corporations.
And I don't think that, the mentality hasn't really changed much. You know, it's still not about money. It's still about, peace of mind and doing what we love to do. You know, the reality today, there was a time when, every longboard you saw out there, most of them were Sector 9s. You know, today, not every longboard out there is a Sector 9. And that's a good thing. I mean, that's the market's healthy. And
I just want to say it's been a real honor to have a front row seat, guys, and I mean that sincerely, to watch this thing mushroom. And I got a taste of what you went through in terms of people laughing at me. The very people that laughed and thought I was a complete idiot for making a magazine about longboarding are now selling a lot of longboards. And the very people that thought I was an idiot for going around telling people about longboarding now have a collection. So I've been there, and I got the T-shirt, and I'm grateful for your time. And I want to just wrap up and say, on behalf of Concrete Waste, we look forward to a very successful 2011.
Us too.
Thank you.
Thank
both
you.
guys. That was a real pleasure. I learned something.
That was fun.
That was great. Yeah.
thanks, Michael.
Will you do that? Okay,
Trying to think
we're
of-
still rolling.
think of
This
that.
is all B-roll stuff. Okay, I'm going to take a picture of me interviewing the guys while EG films. This will go on the mag.
We would like to have a
Nice. Great. Later, guys.
All right.
Bye.
See you, Michael.
Michael.
Bye.